Getting the most out of your CBL soap requires getting the most out of your lather. There's two ways to lather your soap. There's probably more than two ways, but there's two basic ways. There's a bowl lather and there's a face lather. If you're just learning to do one or the other, sometimes, like I was when I first started, I would do a face lather and then finish in a bowl to ensure that I had the best lather possible. Today we're going to do a bowl lather demonstration using 26 millimeter SV Artisan 2.0 brush. I've soaked it, wrung it out, and shook it out so that it's not too full of water. The puck is dry, or the tub is dry since the last time. And I'm just going to swirl. Swirling, depending on how much water you have in the soap or in the brush, or if you've bloomed, it can take anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. But you'll notice that there's a sticky, kind of thick proto-lather forming. It's probably plenty of lather loaded, or soap loaded. We're going to go ahead and just get a little bit of a drizzle going, add a little bit of water onto that, and finish it off. Okay. CBL soap seems to do best if you want the creamier texture if you start with a very dry or damp brush and add water slowly. So we're just going to add a little bit of water to the bowl, and we're going to start lathering. Now we've loaded the brush fairly dry, and we've added a couple rings full of water here, and we'll just work it. Okay. Now, depending on how it is you like to bowl lather, I don't bowl lather typically. You may want to see a big thick bowl full of lather. I like to think of it as lathering the brush. You're building lather in the brush, not in the bowl. But we built a decent lather. Add a little bit more water. And watch what happens when we add a little bit more again. After adding water a couple times, we're getting a very thick brush full of lather. And the lather is starting to take on a shine, but it's not quite there yet. Add a little bit more water. You can see what kind of water we've done there. Each time I add water, the lather builds in volume. Okay, add a little bit more water. Now, just how much water you add depends on how you like your lather. If you're doing a straight razor shave, it's typical to have a very wet, yogurty type of lather, but you want wet and slick, something that rinses away quick off the razor. Often, if you're using a double edge or a single edge injector type, you might want a thicker lather just because it's just feels good or feels normal to you. And you can see I've added quite a bit of water here. That's just to show what happens if we try to break this lather. Okay, the more we work it, the better it gets. And what started out as just a brush full of soap is now a bowl full of lather. You don't have to use a ridged bowl, but it can help. What we're going to do here is we're going to pull the lather out of the brush. You can see that the brush is fairly dry underneath all of that. It's not oozing water at that point. Okay. If we want to work that now, work it back into the brush. It'll break down. And increase in density. So that's a fairly decent lather. It could probably take a little bit more water. don't think you would argue that there's too little lather there. So that is a quick bowl lather. It shows that if you start with a fairly dry brush, you can add quite a bit of water and still have a lather that isn't just full of air. Apply to the face with paintbrush strokes, maybe some swirls, paintbrush, and you can see it thickening up into that kind of lather that you are used to. So now we've got a brush full of lather and a bowl full of lather. So there's plenty of lather to be had. Just start with a fairly dry brush, load dry, and add water slow. So that's bowl lathering CBL soap.